Hey guys, this is the Mall Fox here, and today I'm going to show you guys Galleria at Pittsburgh Mills, located in Tarentum, Pennsylvania. Now, I'm going to be honest, this mall has had a lot of videos made on it by countless creators, so I feel like trying to make the most information-packed video is useless given there's other creators who have done this better than I ever could. I will link a few of those below in my description. However, my footage was shot at night with almost nobody in the mall, so I hope it's at least worth a watch to see something different than most other people have probably shown at this place. So history on this mall starts all the way back in 1981, when George Zamias got the rights to build a mall on 300 acres of land in Fraser Township, Pennsylvania. Back then, no department stores had been confirmed yet, and nothing would happen after this for the next decade. In 1991, local Pittsburgh department store Horns announced plans to locate at the shopping center. And that year, Sears also planned to join. Then, in 1992, Kaufmann's department store pledged to join the project also. The mall would be named the Fraser Heights Galleria and would feature the aforementioned department stores in addition to JCPenney. However, the mall project would stall again until almost another decade later. In 2001, interest was reignited when the Mills Corporation, known for their large indoor outlet malls, joined Zamias on the project, who still was on board with the development of this long-awaited mall. The Mills Corporation had already been looking for a place to build a mall in Pittsburgh since about the 80s or the 90s, so they decided to join Zamias on the project. However, this mall would not be like all other Mills Corporation malls, as this one would not be an outlet mall. Rather, like originally planned, the mall opened as more of a traditional mall with full-price department stores Kaufmann's, JCPenney, and Sears Grand. Junior anchors were Borders Books, Dick's Sporting Goods, Lucky Strike Lanes, a never-opened NASCAR Speedpark, an 18-screen Cinemark Movie Theater, and Linens and Things. The mall had its grand opening on July 14th, 2005 at a total size of just over 900,000 square feet and featured over 150 stores. Many mall mainstays were here on opening day, including GNC, Kay Jewelers, Aeropostale, H&M, Forever 21, and more. So this mall probably did have a first good year or two when it opened. I have seen an opening day directory and there were a good number of stores, but that success did not last very long. I kind of feel like given it took so long for a mall to be placed here, I guess you call that unsuccessful, right? It was very unsuccessful building a mall here, given how many times the project stalled out. And so when the mall finally did get placed here, the unsuccessful nature of this place would only continue. Pittsburgh Mills was placed in a rather rural area of Pittsburgh, where they likely anticipated housing and other development to blossom, but most development never really happened outside of a small shopping area nearby the mall. Today, much of the area is still countryside and sparsely populated relative to the rest of the city and its suburbs. So it's no wonder that this mall faced misfortune pretty much immediately after it opened, finally, after all those years. This is an aerial view of the mall during opening year, and as you can see, there was a NASCAR Speedpark, which would have been like a go-kart track and an entertainment type thing that was never built, and today it's still just a giant patch of grass. And what's really interesting is as we walk past Dick's, we're actually going to see that they built the storefront, but then they have it walled off. There's like a wall behind the gate, and there's just nothing there. They built the storefront and the surrounding area for nothing. This is a graphic from the Mills website in 2004 that showed what the area was going to look like roughly when it was done. The unsuccessful opening of the NASCAR Speedpark was followed up with Lucky Strike Bowling Alley closing in 2006, and Linens and Things closed alongside the entire chain in 2008. In 2011, Borders Books followed suit with their own closing at the mall. And it's been said that there's numerous storefronts that were never leased inside this monumentally sized building. And the mall would empty out as time went on. Sears Grand, which was a Sears line store that was more similar to Walmart, closed in 2015. And due to the state of the world in 2020, Cinemark, the 18-screen movie theater, closed and opted to never reopen under that marquee in May of that year. In October of 2020, JCPenney closed alongside 154 other stores nationwide. This video was recorded in March of 2024, and today in February 2025, there are only 6 chains left in the entire mall. Macy's, Panera Bread, Jo-Ann Fabrics, Dick's Sporting Goods, T-Mobile, and Bath & Body Works. The way that this massive food court is 100% vacant and has almost no chairs is really interesting. Other things inside the mall include a bin discount store located inside the former Sears Grand, and Cinemark got replaced by a first-run cinema ran under GQT Cinema, which is the only location ran by this company. There's a number of non-retail services in the mall, but not many. This mall is extremely empty, and it's kind of a miracle that it even survived into 2025, in my opinion. Something else interesting to throw in here is that this is the only Mills branded mall in the United States that was never owned by Simon Property Group, since Simon bought the Mills Corporation in 2007. This was because Mills sold their stake to Zamias before the sale. The mall would then go into foreclosure at some point and sold to Wells Fargo for $100. Not $100 million, $100. Mall borderline slumlord Namdar Realty then purchased it for $11 million, and they own it to this day. So me visiting this mall was really surreal, because as a kid, I grew up going to a wildly successful Mills mall, Sugarloaf Mills. I have memories as a kid of going to Sugarloaf Mills and seeing the polar bear and several other areas in that mall that they have since removed because it's still owned by Simon, and Simon bleaches all their malls. So it was crazy to then go to, essentially, Sugarloaf Mills, but with a little bit more color, and without all the people and without all the stores, because this mall is empty, and Sugarloaf Mills is thriving. You can never go to that mall without seeing people, and like I said, there's only like 3 vacancies in the whole mall. Very successful. So it was very surreal, and also, at the same time, I was very worried about getting kicked out of here. I had been to a couple malls earlier this day. This was my first time going to Pennsylvania, and I rolled up to Pittsburgh Mills at about 8 p.m. and I was not even sure if the mall was technically open when I was filming this video, but I believe it was. I think last year the mall closed at 9, but now it closes at 8, according to Google. So I was like worried I was going to get kicked out of here by a security guard or that janitor back there. So I really was just speed walking through here. But this was a big Pennsylvania trip that I took. I recorded a bunch of malls around the Pittsburgh area and up to Pittsburgh. And this was one of the most memorable trips that I've been on thus far, and I want to get back out to Pennsylvania sometime in the near-ish future. But as for the future of Pittsburgh Mills, it's probably going to be so that Macy's and Joann are going to close, as Macy's has now announced that they will be closing over 100 stores by 2026. And Joann Fabrics has recently gone into some financial trouble. I think they're under bankruptcy, and they've announced that they're closing a bunch of stores. I don't see them staying inside Pittsburgh Mills. Rumor also has it that Panera Bread over this way is also looking to leave. But with that, is going to conclude my video on the Pittsburgh Mills Mall, located in Tarentum, Pennsylvania. If you guys like this video, and it's really not my best film-wise, I've recorded much better videos on this trip even, consider hitting the like button and subscribing to this channel. There's going to be a lot more content coming out this year about my Pennsylvania trip. I'm going to be prioritizing those videos now. Leave a comment down below if you have maybe a childhood memory or a memory from back in the day going to the Pittsburgh Mills Mall and you want to share it. I'd love to read it. But otherwise, with that, stay tuned for the next mall video.